another thing related to it, but I could never get off the dime because I kept having to remake the first thing. So that was the beginning point of the idea, but it has conceptually a lot of resonance in a variety of ways. Another thing that I was missing in my studio was I began my career as a sculptor, and I like using lots of different kinds of materials, and I like thinking about drawing in different ways, and I had been using color in my installations for a while, but it hadn't come into the drawings, and I was having trouble figuring all that out, and thinking about showing everything together. But once you make two of something, all of a sudden it has this authority on its own, and I also enjoy the relationships between seemingly disparate things. Sometimes they are very connected. Sometimes they're connected conceptually. Sometimes they're connected visually. So that also solved the problem. So now I have these. I will have a set that's my own, and I will be able to maybe think about that in terms of an installation where I change the relationships between things once they've been released from their pair status. So I'm not quite sure what's going to happen because I'm just starting, but I figure in 3 to 5 years, as I build on what I've done here, I'll have more answers to those questions, or maybe I'll have more questions. And speaking of that, are there any questions? So I really think there might be a lot of questions, and I'm happy to answer any that you might have.
It's not really a question, but just seeing these two and two and two and two, I have a feeling you're going to be sorry you let one go. You're going to want to have two, but you're going to end up making three. I could think that way. Because they're so magical, in the way they work.
Thank you so much. I feel like I think what I would do instead of that is look at something like this and say, oh, there's that blue watercolor underneath, and then that sort of purpley brown colored pencil. What if there were pale orange underneath and the purpley brown pencil? Versus trying to, remake it again, but make something that's very closely related, but asking.
That will definitely happen too, but I
Yeah.
feel like you're going to miss the way they look at it.
I don't know, maybe we do miss the other half of Cookie Boat. We have to share it.
Is there any specific rhyme or reasons? I know some of the stuff relates to your other work, your other drawings.
Yes.
It seems like there's some new sort of ideas explored or different pieces.
Yeah, I'd actually say there's some old ideas explored. In other words, as an undergraduate and a graduate, I was more, I don't know what you say, is it a polymath when you do a bunch of different kinds of things? So I was using gouache and acrylic. I was making wax sculptures that sit on pedestals, and I think there's some imagery and ways of working here that are clearly related to those strains that kind of got left by the wayside for a variety of reasons. Just too, busy, too much to do, too many options. So bringing those back in. So I would say it's more that I'm bringing old tricks back in, old interests back in, which feels really nice.
That's nice.
Is this a new size for you? Because I'm not really familiar with your
No, the size actually, I have done a lot of drawings that are about 9 by 9 inches or 11 by 8 inches, and it's kind of a head size. And also, it's a kind of it feels right for a sample, like not too big, not too small. It just felt right that way. So it took me a while to actually figure out the panel, the shape of the panel, what size the project was going to be, because once you start, right, that's what it's going to be for a while. Although I have thought of introducing some 9 by 9 inch circles, and who knows, maybe they're triangles. I don't know. We'll see how that goes, but some circles for sure, I think, will happen.
Can you just briefly talk a little bit about your motivation with the work, more specifically for people who aren't familiar with?
Of course. So it probably depends on the piece. So for example, there are 3 pieces in here made out of gouache and acrylic. and they're titled Calvin as One-Legged Chicken, Calvin as Ray Gun, and Calvin as Wheelbarrow. I have a cat named Calvin, and I take Calvin for walks on the sidewalk. She's a very old cat, and she likes to just kind of lounge on the sidewalk in the sun. And I started taking pictures of her from above. I've taken now literally probably 1,000 pictures of her. And I printed them out and I was looking at them and I really liked the silhouette, the outline of her. So I started blowing those up and cutting them out and looking at them, and then I said, I'm going to make some wash paintings out of these shapes, right? I like that. I wanted one color on the outside, one color on the inside. And so that was the impetus of that. And I have a lot more photographs of her, and so there's probably going to be a lot more of those. And then some of the text pieces, I think I've just started introducing text into my work. And so I did a very small installation about 3 years ago in Cambridge, Massachusetts, part of a group show, where my black and white cut drawing installation started having words in it. And I was like, this is interesting. And it feels writing and drawing are very closely aligned. And I tend to title my work using quotes often. And so it just started coming into the work. So the pieces that you see here are related to a time in my life where I was ill. And the Lou Reed quote is from an incredible album called Magic and Lost, which is about death. The whole album is about death. I've loved that album for years and years. So that's where that quote came from. The other quote, I love you more than one more day, is from another book about death. It's all in the item sheet. And then still here is exactly what it says. Still. And I'm still here, right? So I'm really enjoying that. That's just the tip of the iceberg. There's going to be plenty more text where those things came from, and they won't all be related to death. I'm trying to think. So I'm really interested in accumulation, in biological patterns of growth, and their relationship to other kinds of mark making like knitting and weaving and embroidery. So the black and white pieces that you see in here are related to that and very typical kind of drawing that I've been working on a long time. And then a new way to think about that kind of drawing is the gray and green set. So moving into what does color feel like with that, and what does changing the tone and moving from something that's so high contrast to something that's more tonally closely related. So there's plenty of more questions to have to do with that. And then the cat hair chewing gum piece is definitely related to my sculptural concerns, and also issues about, I say to my students all the time, don't talk to me about eating a bulldozer. If you have a paper bag and a pencil, you can make artwork. So I was like saving my cat hair from my other cat's bite, thinking, so there's something to be done here. And then in the interest of the idea of sampling, right, if you think about the title of the show, there's a lot of ways to think about the word sample. It's a verb, it's a noun, there's sampling music, there's, you could say, maybe that reminds you of Merritt Oppenheim or the Surrealists, right? So there's certain things that I could do. The teacup is in the wings, and my sculptures were very influenced by the Surrealists. So I'm trying to think, colored pencil and the stencils. I've been collecting stencils. I've been collecting them, not using them one bit. They just, as we all do as artists, things just pile up and you think something's going to happen with that. And so now something's happening with it. And I also, the way that I'm working with the colored pencils is I'm collecting, I have like six different brands of colored pencil. And when I get them, I put all the oranges together, all the reds together, because they're quite different in very interesting ways. So now I have I'll have 15 reds instead of 3 reds, 15 oranges instead of 3 oranges. So that, and probably making my own stencils will come in at some point, and collecting more colored pencils and adding to the repertoire. So that's one way to think about a drawing. And some of those drawings are very related to the black and white. Like I've made a black and white drawing like this before. And I've also made an installation, a gigantic chrysanthemum, which I think might be pictured in my black and white with white polka dots and black paper, like a giant thing. So that's just a motif that recurs in my work. I'm a gardener, so I think there's a lot of floral motifs that occur because of that. And I also think that probably my accumulative instinct and the patterns, like the way I touch things over and over, is just really a physics idea. I am a product of deep patterns. I make patterns. So I think that answers your question. It's sort of a long answer because there's a lot of different kinds of artwork here.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Sure. Anything else? Thanks. I mean, maybe I should probably let you just look at the work now and enjoy it.
I have a question.
Oh.
When you were a young child, were you drawing, and what was your imagery like? What kind of stuff and how were you thinking of yourself in relation to that activity, and how was your environment in relation to you?
Well, first of all, my mom was the kind of mom that could take 99-cent a yard lime-colored burlap and wallpaper the living room, and it looked fabulous. So she was Martha Stewart before Martha Stewart. So she was very creative, and my dad was here also. He builds things, right? So they both had that in them. And I started drawing pretty young, and I had 2 ways of drawing. And I also started making installations very young. So I lived in a rural area, and I would go up in the woods, and I would take pine cones and empty beer bottles and wine bottles and stuff, and I'd like make tables, and I'd set up these arrangements of things in the woods in a space. There were these great stone walls that met and made this 4-sided stone wall area. So there was that. And then I drew from life. I really loved drawing from life, and that's my training. And so I would make drawings of pine trees and the fields and stuff like that. And sometimes I would fake being sick to stay home to draw, which I don't know if you knew that, Dad, but. And then I also did this thing from very early, like probably 4th grade, where I would make this dress shape and pretty much just festoon it with lace, just totally cover the thing with lace. I didn't care, there was no figure in it, it wasn't like a princess, there was no like princess, or it was just the dress, and it would be like. And then the other thing that I remember that I think is related to this is when I would we had to handwrite book reports and stuff in pen, and if I made a mistake, I wouldn't just draw a line through it, I'd actually draw a really nice dark rectangle over the whole word. So, those are the 4.
So
that's it right
those
there. It all comes from that.
Those tables with the collections of you were definitely not yet aware of
No, it was
the art world. And
oh no, not at all.
you-
No, I was just doing it. It's like dollhouse, arranging things. But basically making a 3-dimensional collage, which I actually do a lot in installations. Very, very related. Anything else? Well, have fun looking at the show. Please feel free to ask me any questions